Time now for your forewarned weather with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy.
That's actually the voiceover you get when you call her phone and the voicemail picks up.
When she doesn't pick up. That's a good one.
Come on, tell them the truth. It's how they announce me when I walk into the station.
It's true. Yeah,
Every day. Oh, not even close. Oh my gosh, I'm so uncool. Please don't make it seem cool. And I am not everybody's favorite person right now because of the inversion.
Oh, man.
I know I've fallen on lists. I'm like the complaint line. I'm sorry. I know I don't like the air quality either. You can kind of hear it. It starts to get to you, right? Your nose, your sinuses. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we were dealing with over Ensign Peak. Our ABC4 camera shows that layer of inversion. Now, I will say, today on the cameras, to the naked eye, it wasn't as dense as what we saw yesterday. You can kind of make out the top of the valley here as the sun was going down, which yesterday was not the case. We've stayed in that moderate air quality category. We did not mix into the unhealthy for sensitive groups, which was progress. Unfortunately, pollution's still out there. The Salt Lake City haze noted here. You can see it from Meg Roberts coming in, and then a paraglider out there and enjoying some of the above average warmth. As we take a look at our time lapse from southern Utah, you can see clear skies out there with quiet conditions. Those temperatures made it into the low 60s. So that's where the warmth was really noteworthy. As we look at numbers right now, we're falling into the 20s and 30s. We've already hit the 20s in places like Milford and Cedar City's freezing, 40s in St. George, 20s on the eastern side of the state. A little more moderated along the Wasatch Front, but we know we've got cold air coming in. Northwest flow over the state. Of course, we're dry, and we're going to stay that way, but that northwest flow is a little bit helpful here. We are going to see it consistently stick around, and that is going to be a key player in what happens with our inversion conditions. Let's look at the drought monitor because the high pressure keeps us dry and we get new numbers on Thursdays. Some progress here. I like good news. We need good news, especially with rough air. You can see in red that's only 2% of the state in extreme drought, and that went down 1% this week. So that's a plus, especially since we have not seen an active storm track. As we check out the snowpack here, and you take the snow in the mountains and melt it into a liquid, lands at about 5 inches of SWE, snow water equivalent. Typically, we're right around 7. So this high pressure is not doing us a favor in the way of precipitation, and unfortunately, it's not doing us a favor with the air. Take a look at that video. Scott Taylor catching the Salt Lake Valley. That is gunk. Yuck. Not nice. We want it out of here. It's going to take some time. Nelson Peak showing you time-lapse video. Now this looked a little different than yesterday. Not as high for the inversion level, not as thick as the sun was going down. Good news there as you look towards the Tooele Valley, and Salt Lake County is in that as well. Our inversion highs today, upper 40s for the mountain valleys, low to mid 40s for the actual valleys. Now the inversion layer has reached both of these locations right around 7,000 feet. We've seen the haze throughout the day. Visibility has been impacted, and tonight the fog is expected. 20s, and you notice that fog. It's going to settle in. It's going to take some time, but as we look at our futurecast visibility, you're able to see along the Wasatch Front, over the lake, for the overnight patches there in Davis County and Utah County. We have the chance, especially over the lake on the western side and then eventually on the eastern side during the morning commute, to drop down in visibility with some fog settling in. It could be patchy in locations. Our model kind of likes it tomorrow morning on the eastern edge of the Great Salt Lake, but then also into Salt Lake County and Provo. So heads up, if you're an early morning commuter, you could run into that. So we look at air quality forecast. We know that unhealthy air is forecast to show up yet again in Salt Lake, Davis, and Utah County. I will note that was the case today, and we stayed in moderate for quite some time, that moderate air for the Wasatch back, northeastern Utah and the northern Utah, and then cleaner air down south, which we love and we're a little bit jealous of, but here we are. We don't see a storm come through, but here's what we do see. The haze is in place. Our high pressure kind of moves and centers over the Pacific Northwest. We're opening the door here for that northwest flow. That's going to weaken the inversion a little bit, take the edge off, especially as this trough, which has Arctic air with it, kind of tracks over east of us. Now that colder air and cool air aloft is going to also take the edge off of that warm layer. So that just means that we have a weaker setup. Now, high pressure sticks around into next week, but it's not looking as intense as what we've seen this week. So a weaker inversion, which would be good news, and that is some progress before we start to get clouds midweek and possibly the chance of a storm for parts of the state at the end of next week. Precip outlook shows wetter conditions throughout the state on the 6 to 10 day. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Cooler air aloft will not only cool the upper layer, but it will also knock off a few temperatures in our valleys, just a few degrees, 60s to upper 50s. Dry 7 day for southern Utah. MLK Day at 60 in St. George. And here's the Wasatch Front. No, there's no wet weather in sight, but I will say a weaker setup with a northwest flow is positive. We saw that change on the weather models overnight, and that could benefit us.
We'll take any change.
Yeah,
at this
truly.
point.
What do you go,
Anything.
a glimmer of hope early? I like that.
That's
We
all
want the